Hello and welcome to another edition of Field Trips with me, Wendy Flula. We are going to take a look at the Limerick Bowling Alley and see how cool it is and all the really fun things you can do inside. There's a little bit more to do here than you think. So come on, let's check this place out. Welcome back, and here we are with the general manager of Limerick Bowl, Chris Boozer, who's going to tell us a little bit about hyper bowling, which I have never heard of. So could you tell us what this new type of bowling is?
Okay, sure. Hyper bowling, we're actually one of 7 centers that have installed this in the country. It's brand new. It's more of a video game on the lanes, so it's not your traditional bowling by any stretch of the imagination. But as you can see in the background here in a minute, the pins are actually worth 100 points each, and you're encouraged to hit the colored sections on the rails one time as a multiplier. So the games are in the thousands, so it's not by any stretch, the traditional bowling. The games will go anywhere from probably about 5 to 10 minutes. It's fast-paced, and everything interacts with you on the lanes with the scoring system.
Do you throw one ball per frame or two? Or?
Yes, each game actually is 5 throws. It's a frame is 2 shots, but with this, it's one shot or 5 throws is one game.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. I like the fact that it's fast. There's a lot of color involved, and you get high scores. So it's kind of like a video game.
Absolutely, right on the lanes.
Chris, what did we just see with the hyper bowling there? How did that work?
Okay, so basically with the first turn that was thrown there, I hit 7 pins down, and on the rail I hit a green section. I was trying to hit the blue for the three times multiplier, but I only hit green for 2. So with the 7 pins being 100 points per pin, that'd be 700 times 2, gave me 1,400 points on that first turn. So you can see the scores are just out of this world, so it's totally different from what you're used to seeing.
Cool, and it allows you to it doesn't, gutter balls, and it allows you to just hit the rails and
correct
get more points.
And also there's 3 other different types of games involved with the Hyper Bowl. Team concepts and little harder versions of what you just saw where the sections are moving actually. So it challenges you, and it's like leveling up. If it's the game, it sees you accomplish that easier portion, it will level up and get harder, and each version I believe has 12 levels in it, so it's constantly challenging you to do better.
Oh, so it moves on its own. You don't say I want to come in and go to the higher level where it's moving. It challenges you?
Yes, it does.
That's pretty cool. All right, so I guess now we should go to the back and see what's going on behind the scenes.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're behind the alleys. Can you explain what we're seeing back here?
Sure. So you're going to see various shots. Basically, the biggest component to understand is there's actually 20 pins in every lane. Okay, so there's 10 working while there's 10 getting reset to come down for your next frame. So at the very top, the first shot you're going to see the distributor, which actually there's a little conveyor belt that goes to each cell or each spot where the pin goes, and it goes off the tip of the distributor and it triggers it to go to the next cell. So it'll go around to distribute those 10 pins into the next rack that's going to come down. From that point, as you see shots of the pins being hit over, there's a carpet off the pin deck at the back that pulls the pins to the back to a pinwheel that circles them around back up top to the distributor. Okay, and then you're also going to see a shot of what happens to the bowling ball when it comes off the back of the lane, which basically rides that conveyor belt on the bottom, and it's tilted, so it takes it over to the ball exit, which lifts the ball up and then shoots it back underground, back up to the ball return up front, back for your next shot. Okay, so it's pretty interesting, but a lot has been simplified with technology, and it's just a matter of maintaining the machines and you could have one of the oldest machines, end up running like clockwork for many decades, as we can show here with these machines being from easily the early 70s and still running like clockwork today.
That's pretty cool. And the machine knows the difference between a ball and a pin? Like pins don't end up where the ball goes out to the side?
Well, we'd like to think so, but funny things happen. There's always machine calls, and like I said, the maintenance limits them. We've had various situations where we've had a pin go underground and shoot all the way back up to the ball return. It doesn't happen a lot. It's a rarity, but things do happen. But for the most part, the pins are drugged to the back of the machine, and the ball is forced to exit to the side. And the only other time you usually see any kind of calls are with the distributor, where you might get two pins actually try to get into one cell. And it's what we call a pile up. And then basically we have a mechanic down here at all hours that we're open, and they get the call and they go fix it, and you're back in business.
Oh, very cool. That's interesting. I never saw the backside of a bowling alley before. And now maybe we'll take a look at what actually goes on inside the balls and the pins and some of the science behind this.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Here we are back with General Manager Chris, and we're here to talk a little bit about the science and the equipment behind bowling. So could you tell us a little bit about the lanes? Because I understand there's some things you might want to know about the lanes before you start bowling.
Yes, Wendy. So really it all starts with how the lane surface is clean and how the oil is applied to the lanes. Okay, so you might be watching some of the pros on TV nowadays and seeing them struggle on tougher conditions, okay? And basically, you have to look at it from, the lane level up and picture, a top hat from the gutter to gutter into the second arrow on the lane. You on a house shot, you relatively dry, okay? And then the oil mounds up like a top hat, okay? And there's a lot of oil in the middle of the lane. And what that does, it creates a situation where, depending on what type of bowling ball, which we'll discuss here in a minute, you're throwing, it'll make the ball grab the lane, or it'll make the ball not hook if you pull it in the middle in the heavier oil, and it gives you a wider range of a target to hit to make sure that your ball hits the pocket, okay? Whereas, like I was mentioning about the pros on TV, they could be bowling on a pattern that's flat. There's no top hat whatsoever, and they throw a ball wide on the lane, and it's not going to recover because there's not enough friction to get that ball back.
So by the pocket, what are the two pockets on a lane, just for
Okay.
people who don't normally bowl?
So the pocket for a right-hander would be the one and the 3 pin, and for a left-hander, the 1 and the 2 pin. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to, in a recreational situation, we're going to create an easier way for you to get to that pocket to get that strike that you're looking for. Okay, and with a flatter lane pattern, that the target you're going to look at to get to the pocket is going to be considerably less. Okay, so you could see more of a degree of difficulty to get to that pocket to get the strike. Okay, so that's what brings your elite players that you see on TV that you think are struggling, and you're wondering why they can't hit the pocket because you do it in league every night. There's a reason. Okay, so I don't want to leave anyone get fooled by that. Okay, so that takes us into the equipment that you throw to get that strike. Okay, and in front of us here we have two different types of bowling balls, and they're at both ends of the spectrum, okay? So basically when you come in here to have a good time with your friends and family, you're going to go to the ball towers and you're going to pick out a house ball, and that's basically a plastic ball or polyester. The weight block, we'll talk about the difference of these two balls and the weight blocks that are inside of the ball. But the biggest factor is the cover stock on the ball, or the shell of the ball, okay? This being plastic, it's a very hard cover. Okay, it's not going to create a lot of friction on the lane, and it's going to need a lot less oil to hook. Okay, but if you...
We can tell that because it's really shiny.
Yeah, technically, it's not the criteria to it, but most of the house balls you find are shiny. I call them pretty balls. Okay, you want everyone to be able to get their favorite color and go out there and bowl and have a good time. Okay, then as you move up into the different types of leagues, you're going to look at performance end balls, and the price range, it's a big difference. Where this could be anywhere from, around $75. These bowling balls that are made nowadays are upwards of 200 plus. Okay, and it's basically you're buying more friction on the lane. You're buying something that's going to grab the lane and not deflect off the pins. It's going to want to drive through. Okay, they have duller and they have shinier surface bowling balls that are reactive resins that are built into a urethane cover stock. And again, these balls, they just won't blink. If they find any kind of dry surface out on the lane, it's going to want to grab and it's going to want to hook back, okay? And the other dynamic to it, as we bring this ball around, it's an older ball, but it serves the purpose for showing here. The weight blocks that are inside, there's different types of weight blocks. This bowling ball here, you basically have components within different weight blocks and what they're trying to accomplish with the technology of the bowling ball.
So by weight blocks, do you mean like how heavy the ball is or where the weight's distributed?
It's distributed inside the bowling ball. So you'll see pieces to this weight block. You'll see some that are just one solid core, some that look like a light bulb, some, they're all different dynamics of what manufacturers want to accent and what bring out in their product. But basically what you're going to see is the more of the weight block that's centered towards the middle of the bowling ball is going to give the ball more of an arcing hook on the lane, okay? And when they add these components or flip blocks or components outside in the weight block, they get closer to the outside or the cover stock of the ball, and that's where it generates and creates opportunity to make the ball flip and be more angular into the pocket instead of a gradual arc.
So it'll cut in more sharply.
Yes, correct. So at the break point of the ball, it will accent and come back depending on the bowler and how much rotation they put on the ball, how fast they throw the ball. So all these things your pro shop operator would be looking to match up with your game and try to...
Because you can very easily get a 7-10 split if you hit too much of an angle.
Oh, yeah, you'll see some funny things in the course of a bowling career, but the idea is that you want to take advantage of the technology that's there for you. And some people still will have both of these balls. You'll see people come in, like you mentioned earlier, off camera, about wheeling in 5 or 6 balls, for league night. And we have college tournaments here where girls come in this past February, and they had 6 balls each, and it was close to 200 girls. So you imagine how many bowling balls we had in this bowling center for the tournament.
We have a cameraman that likes to grab like the 6 to 8 pound ball because he can throw it really fast. Is that helpful to your game?
No, that I'll actually end up destroying those 6 or 8 pound balls, but we'll thank him later for that.
Just an FYI.
So, and one of the odd things, it really doesn't amount to too much, but the bowling pins that are used. Okay, there's a couple different types. This one I'll mention first, only because it's out there. It's actually a synthetic pin. And it's on the market. It's a pin that'll last quite a long time. So the bang for your buck with this, you'll get some longevity out of that.
It's all plastic?
All synthetic, yeah. It's all plastic. And then you have your traditional pins. Now we mentioned we have 2 sets of pins in each lane, and you can see they're 3+ pounds each. Okay, and once you hold one of those, and you wonder how you're hitting 10 of those over with a 6-pound ball, cameraman. But you want to throw as much weight as you can, and but these have a wood interior, and they're coated with a plastic coating. And we usually get, with the lineage that we get here at this center, we have to replace these every year, just to put out the best product for our customers, to stay on top of things. But you can clean these up, and you can keep them in play for quite a long time. And we rotate and we do everything we can. But over time, what'll happen is there's a plastic donut on the bottom of the pin that'll wear off. There's gouges that get on the pins and everything. So over time, this pin would end up being given away to one of the kids at a birthday party, or something along that line. Put to good use.
I've seen painted ones that are pretty cool.
Yes. So everything has its purpose in life. So that's usually where it ends up.
Do they react the same?
School's out on that. I kind of, love the tried true wood bowling pin. There's different applications in different centers that I've seen a difference myself, but, of course they won't tell you that. So, but we always stick with a wooden pin. So.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, for all the information and inviting us into Limerick Bowling. And if you want to learn more or just have a really fun time, come to Limerick Bowl and check out all of the really cool things that are here. We've just hit the tip of the iceberg today. So I hope you had a good time on our field trip. Come on down.